welcome to another Data Vault Q&A brought to you by Iris, your choice of automation for your lakehouse. My name is Julien Redmond, and joining me again is Nols Ebersohn. G'day, Nols.
G'day, Julien. How are you?
Yeah, still good.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, I have a cool question here. What are the most common Data Vault modeling mistakes?
Oh, that's a nuanced question, actually. Sometimes our biggest mistakes is letting our past experience taint our future decisions, and so sometimes that's the biggest challenge we face. It's not necessarily a modeling question, but sort of the challenge between the seat and the keyboard. But besides that, most commonly what we find, people miss the opportunity to integrate.
Yeah.
And so we have a business keys, which needs to be the same grain and the same semantics for them to then become that anchor point for integration, which then anchors the relationships, which expands our integration opportunity. So lack of integration on our business keys. And so not understanding the business understanding of those business keys. So what one system would call, say, account ID, and another system call it client ID. You could argue that there are two semantic differences, but if you look at the business processes, they're identical. So the business process then say, no, these two things are in fact the same, so they need to be integrated to the same hub structure or such. That's one of the common challenges that we see. Another common challenge that we see is people don't understand relationship grain and context that well. So there's the concept of unit of work, those business keys that always happen together and are always related to each other in a particular event. For instance, a medical visit, the medical center, the doctor, the appointment, and the patient, those four things always go together. And if those four things, you start breaking it apart, guess what's going to happen? Well, if it's a true many-to-many, then you can't break it apart. It will then cause reconciliation issues. If you can break it apart, then you have to reconstitute it every single time you want to use the data. So that's the second common issue that we see when it comes to modeling mistakes. And then not recognizing and understanding that the business rules outcomes need to be in Business Vault as a sparsely modeled, only the things that got changed or whatever, integrated back to the hubs and links, because that's the job of hubs and links, is to be the integration points and the satellites that track everything in its time context. So the two jobs of a proper data warehouse. And so understanding that those relationships needs to be maintained in their proper unit of work. The business keys needs to be properly described or properly formed to be that point of integration, and then business rules, where and how they fit, and how to bring that into the design that gives you consistent results, gives you consistent answers, and takes away all of the heavy lifting out of the reporting and put it into the business rules, where the business rules only worry about creating the missing data and nothing else. It doesn't need to know how to load the vault. All it needs to know is how to create the missing data. The vault already knows. It already has all of the patterns to process that data. It's like having a small mini application that now gives us, using the parlance that most of the training would be using, write-back functionality. So you're essentially creating another result which gets integrated and it completes the picture. I use this example a few times, but your data is like Swiss cheese, right? What's the identifying or the specific nature of Swiss cheese?
Full of holes.
Full of holes. And that's how your data arrives from the source system, right? Full of holes. And Business Vault is where we plug the holes, because the business is expecting a complete, unified, intact slice of cheese on their burger, right?
Feels like the common thread between all those issues is really knowing how your business uses your data.
You need to understand your business.
Yeah.
Because the business, the data is basically a evidence of the decisions that were made in your source system's business processes.
Yeah.
It's the evidence of the activities and decisions, and that is the crux of it. And so if you don't understand that, you're not going to have a model that will reflect the business, and therefore the business, A, can't relate to it, and B, it'll start breaking things apart where it shouldn't, and then trying to reconcile is a nightmare, and then the business can't trust it, they move away from it. And so that is a fundamental element in it, that great flexibility comes from using relationships or links, but you can also go and cause havoc by ignoring the unit of work for your data as it reflects the business process specifically.
I think that's enough. There's probably lots of other mistakes people make, but we'll leave those for another time. Thanks.
Those again. Are the main ones.
Yeah. Thanks again today for sharing that knowledge. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time.